Hello, my name is Kevin JAIMES, and for today's midterm presentation, I will be talking about Edgar Allan Poe's short story, The Black Cat. Edgar Allan Poe's The Black Cat dwells on the topics of madness, the extreme use of substance abuse, in this case alcoholism, and sudden death through a tumultuous relationship between the unnamed narrator, his wife, and their pet cat, Pluto. The story begins with an unnamed narrator who tells us he is about to be executed and wants to tell his story in hopes it will unburden his soul from all the guilt and darkness he committed during his lifetime. He commences his tale by saying he used to be a very friendly man with a big heart and even so conspicuous that would make him the jest of his companions. He ended up marrying at a young age with a woman who had a disposition not uncongenial with his own. She one time noticed his fondness of animals and so decided she would get him a whole array of them, from birds, a dog, some fish, a monkey, and a black cat. Out of all the pets she got him, the black cat, who he named Pluto, was by far his favorite. He continued being a good man until he matured more into his manhood and discovered alcohol. The narrator then spiraled into alcoholism, causing him to act differently and mistreat those who he had loved before. Mood swings became very apparent in the household, and the narrator also made sure that his pets were receiving the same mistreatment everyone was receiving, including his own beloved wife. But not Pluto, who he retained himself from ever hurting. That is, until one night after drinking in town, the narrator comes home extremely inebriated and sees Pluto, his cat. Since Pluto was able to feel his owner's sudden ill change, he quickly runs away from his owner, which causes him to go after him. Once caught, Pluto bites down onto his owner, causing the owner to be furiously angry, grabs a spoon, and then proceeds to gouge out Pluto's right eye. The following morning, the narrator was regressing at what he had just done and realized he kind of gets a kick out of the sudden new perverseness of doing evil acts. So, in order to quench his pervasive thoughts, he made the decision to hang Pluto on a tree branch outside his house to death. That very same night of the day he killed Pluto, his house was engulfed in huge flames of fire, losing all his wealth, possessions, and property. All that was left of the house was one standing wall that had a burned image in the plaster of a big cat with a noose around its neck. The narrator then becomes sad and starts to look for another cat. He ends up finding one that resembles Pluto so much alike, but the only difference is that this cat had a white splotch on his chest while Pluto didn't. He decides to take the cat, and just like Pluto, the cat immediately takes a liking to the owner. It doesn't take too long until the owner starts to feel hatred for the cat because he reminds him of the heinous crime he did with Pluto. One day, the owner noticed the white splotch on the cat's breast shifting into the gallows, alluding to how he hung Pluto to death, which finalizes his decision on killing the new big black cat, because in his mind, he thought this was a taunt from God. One day, while going down the basement, the cat almost trips the owner down the stairs, causing him to enter into such a deep rage. He grabs the axe and swings at the cat, but is then stopped by his wife. Still, with the sudden rage coursing in his mind, he swings the axe at his wife's head with one swoop, which ultimately ends up killing her. The man is now tasked to hide the body and decides to conceal his dead wife's corpse within one portion of the wall. He does so successfully and says he is now capable of sleeping without any brute getting in the way. The owner feels no guilt at killing his wife and worries about how much rest he will be able to get now. 4 days later after the killing, the owner is visited by a band of policemen asking questions about his missing wife. They checked the house to and fro, finding nothing. They even checked the basement walls and saw nothing out of the ordinary. The owner feels so much glee at that this is happening because he thinks that he did such an amazing job with hiding it. He has the need to say something. He brags by saying, quote unquote, "By the by, gentlemen, this is a very well-constructed house. I may say an excellently well-constructed house. These walls, are you going, gentlemen? These walls are solidly put together." With a cane, he then hits the exact portion of the wall he concealed his wife's corpse, and sudden scream from the depths of hell was suddenly heard. Quickly, the officers go to the wall, and out plops the corpse. On top of the corpse was the creature that emitted the harsh scream, the Black Cat. The story focuses on the Gothic era and America and describes the very depths of human mind can reach. It also focuses on the supernatural, such as the owner's house being inflamed to a crisp. His writing, Edgar Allan Poe, was difficult once it started talking about humanity's primal instincts and man's true motives. Thank you very much.